this box is the most exotic seafood the internet has ever seen. I'm talking over 5 different species that are completely unknown to the Western world.
I've traveled all the way to Vietnam to find these exotic species, and I'm going to do my best to make the most flavorful dish I've ever prepared. So here's the plan. I need to put together the perfect seasoning, properly prepare each ingredient, make a delicious butter dip, and if nothing goes wrong, rate and taste every seafood along the way. But first, let's check out these beautiful creatures.
All right, you guys made it to the point where you see the exotic seafood.
This box is full of the most exotic seafoods that I could find anywhere in Asia. They're seasonal animals, so you won't be able to find these unless you come at the right time of the year.
We have a red prawn right here. As you're looking at it, you notice that it has a very sharp horn on the front of its face. If you get stabbed with this thing, it'll actually go like right through your skin. Ow. They're so sharp. He actually made me bleed. Gotta be careful with these guys. This is the sweetest prawn species out of anyone in the entire ocean. When you're eating them, it's literally like the candy of the sea.
Dealing with live seafood can be extremely messy, and for that reason, we're gonna be counting every stain I get on my shirt.
This is a tiger crab, and to my knowledge, this is also the sweetest crab species in the world. What makes them really unique is their pattern. They kind of resemble a blue crab in a lot of ways, specifically like the body structure. These guys can easily take a pinky finger off, so you gotta be careful around them. That's why we have them tied, because I don't wanna mess with this thing. If he accidentally gets me, it's gonna be the end of the video very quickly. Now this right here is a zebra crab, one of the most colorful crab species on the planet. It has a blue pattern, really resembling a cheetah. It's a super vibrant blue all the way from its legs to its shell to its swimmer and swimmerettes. And I've actually never eaten one of these, so this is gonna be a first time for me too. This is called a slipper lobster. Oh. This lobster species is my all-time favorite. From what I've seen, usually like Eastern crustaceans are a lot sweeter, so I'm hoping that that's the same with this one. Either way, it's very excited to cook it. This is the painted crayfish, okay? It's the most colorful lobster species in the entire world, and you can only find them in the Eastern hemisphere. I particularly like eating this lobster species as sashimi, but I think boiling it will be very different. Also, they use these things to like protect themselves, so if I'm going at it from the front, it's gonna try to smack me with it. This right here is the hairy crab. It's the world's hairiest crab, and to my knowledge, the only crab that actually has hair. Correct me if the comments if I'm wrong on that. This species is only found in Southeast Asia, and usually when you buy seafood, you buy it by the weight. So as they're weighing them, the only thing I'm thinking about is all this hair is retaining water. So I know I'm buying like at least half an ounce just of pure water, and they're very expensive. This crab was 240 USD. It's honestly one of my favorite animals in the entire world. Looking at the bottom of it, I could tell it's a male, and the male hairy crabs taste different than the female hairy crabs. Their meat is really comparable to a king crab, except it's a lot sweeter, and it has that like red meat pull that king crabs have. So I'm really excited about this guy.
At the end of this video, I'll be rating each of these species based off their flavor. The most unique dish takes the crown. But before we get cooking, we've got some prep work to do.
The world's most exotic seafood boil deserves extremely exotic seasonings.
That's why I'm carefully measuring each ingredient to make the most flavorful seafood boil on the internet. And you'll know they're mixed once all the seasonings are indistinguishable from one another. Now that the flavor is taken care of, it's time for the veggies.
And we have a lot of them. We're gonna need a total of 20 cloves of garlic, so just get to cracking them as fast as you can. Next, you have your corn. You're gonna shuck it so that you just have the knobs. Cut off their heads and snap them in half, and if they're still too big, cut them into even smaller pieces. After that, you have your limes. Just cut them in half and you're good to go. Then you have your potatoes. Some people like to peel them, but I'm gonna put them in. Potato skin is the healthiest part of any potato. Go in with your 2 onions, cut them, and make sure you don't start to cry like I did. I should really start wearing protection for these. Lastly, cut your oranges. I got this green orange that I've only ever seen in Asia.
Now that we have all of these ingredients prepped, it's time to start cooking.
For your seafood boil, I definitely recommend using the biggest pot you can find. Because I just came here spontaneously, an 11-liter pot is the biggest one I have. You want your water to be saltier than the ocean so that the seafood keeps its oceany taste. I'm using pink Himalayan salt, and I'm very generous with it. Now you have to put your seasonings into your pot. Make sure you save about 1/4 of it because the rest is gonna go into the butter. Make sure you give it a good stir as well. All of the seasonings should start to dissolve into the water. Because the water is gonna take a little bit to boil, we're gonna start to prep our butter. I have 12 cloves of garlic right here, and I'm gonna thinly chop them until they're all into little cubes. We're about to put 2 entire sticks of butter into a pan. I prefer salted butter at all times. If you get unsalted butter, it'll just taste a little bit off. As your butter is melting, you're gonna put all that garlic you just chopped up right into it. Once the butter is simmering, you're gonna put in the rest of your seasonings to it. Make sure you get an even spread as it goes in. Mix it all in really, really well. We want those seasonings to just completely marinate with this butter. This is gonna be the best thing you've ever tasted in your life. And above all, make sure that it's on a really low heat. Feel free to taste your butter as it's happening. That's insane. If you feel like it's missing something, you could just add any seasonings. It's not too late. Right before your water starts to boil, you're gonna put in all your veggies and fruit except for the corn and potatoes. Now that everything is in there, get a good mix going. That's pretty good.
We're gonna start by adding in the painted crayfish, then our slipper lobster, tiger crabs, zebra crabs, and...
Oh! Lastly, we're gonna put in the hairy crab. I broke it down because it's just such a big crab. I'd rather it just be all solidified. I made sure to leave the head because this crab butter is the best part. Make sure you put in all the juices that came out of the seafood. That's gonna give it that really seafoody taste, but not like fishy, just the seafood taste that you want.
And looking at this clip, I'm realizing I completely stained my shirt off camera. So here's the count.
I also have a bunch of sausages to make it that like Cajun flavor. Make sure the sausages all get in the water. Once it's been boiling for a bit, I'm gonna put a whole stick of butter in. I'll be real, I was supposed to put this in a while ago, but I totally forgot. Put her in on top. Come on. We're also gonna put in the potatoes right now. They take a little bit less time to cook, so that's why we put them in late. After your potatoes have been in there for 10 minutes, you're gonna turn the heat off and put in your corn once the heat is off.
Guys, this boil is looking delicious and it's almost time to try it. I've traveled across the world to find these ingredients and I'm hoping they don't disappoint.
The moment you guys have been waiting for, it's finally time for the seafood dump. All right, here we go. Ow, I just burned myself.
Now that we've cooked up some seriously exotic seafoods, it's time for a taste test. I'll be rating each dish from 1 to 10 based on flavor and shock factor.
First up for the taste test, we're gonna do a prawn, because it's so easy. I'm gonna grab a prawn. This is what it looks like after cooked. Oh, it's so hot. Got our seasoned butter on the side, waiting for dip. Dipping it in. Here we go. Wow. It's pretty hard to beat.
Now that I've gotten a taste, it's time for my analysis. Tiger prawn are incredibly sweet, and the seasonings added amazing contrast to make it a salty, savory treat. 8.6 out of 10.
Now we're gonna try the slipper lobster. This is what it looks like after cooked. So these guys are actually kind of fun to open up. They have an incredibly hard shell. Oh, ow. Okay, we're just gonna go. Wow, it's so hot. Potato to wash it down. Woo!
This lobster takes on the flavor of the boil better than most because it's pretty bland on its own. It's a good thing I had the seasoned butter dip to back this up. 7.2 out of 10.
Gonna try the painted crayfish. This is what it looks like after cooked. Ow, ow. Oh wow, look at that. Got a nice little piece of that one. Dip in the butter. I have a little something to say about that one.
I've always been an undercover hater for the painted crayfish because it's not as savory as the other lobster species. This makes it good for sashimi, but not as good for the boil. 6.9 out of 10.
Look at the color that this tiger crab came out. This is what it looks like after cooked. Going in for the filet mignon of the crab meat right now. This is the crab meat, you don't need any butter. A lot of shell, but that's really good.
This crab is a solid contender for the #1 spot. It soaked up the garlic flavor and was extremely tender. 8.6 out of 10.
The zebra crab transformed into like a vibrant red. This is what it looks like after cooked. Wow, you could just see that it's burning hot. Wow.
This tastes just like a blue crab, which is one of my favorites. Putting this at an 8.4 out of 10.
Last up, we've got the hairiest of them all, the hairy crab. Curious about this guy. This is the crab meat right over here. Gonna dip this guy in the butter.
The best part about this one is that you don't have to do such an insane amount of work for the meat. Got a nice chunk of flavor very easily. 9.2 out of 10.
Now this is all fun and games, right? But which one of them tasted the best? There's only one answer.
The hairy crab. Was it not obvious by the rating?